So today's session is looking into hip mobility and hip strength. So I recommend that you have a folded over towel if you find kneeling difficult on your knees, just to provide some extra padding. And you will also need your resistance band or your tights or a belt or something just to help us get a little bit more deeply into the stretches at the end. Okay, so without further ado, let us get started. We will begin on our hands and knees. So if you want to, you can put your knees onto your folded over towel and then bring your hands underneath your shoulders. A little light bend in the elbows so we're not locking the elbows out. Now, before we go into any hip movement, we're just going to do a little bit of back mobilizing with our cat and cow stretch. So when you breathe in, I want you to push the belly down, push your tailbone up and look forwards off the end of your mat. Then as you breathe out, you tuck the tailbone in, arch up over your shoulders and tuck the chin into the chest, looking back towards the knees. And continue a few more of those, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. One more. Okay, now we're going to work just on the right leg. So we're going to keep a bend in the knee, and what we're going to do is with the foot flexed, so we're not pointing the toes, we're pulling the toes in towards the shin. We're going to lift that left heel up towards the ceiling, just as high as you can manage. You might get a little bit of a sort of sideways rotation happening, but not too much. So push it up and then bring the knee in, again just as far as you can manage. Push up and then breathe in, or pull in as you breathe in. Good. Squeeze into your glutes as you lift. Good. And now on this last one, we're going to hold it up and do 10 little pulses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, good. And last 9, 10. And bring that knee back in. Good, just let's have a little moment of rest just to ease off on the wrists a little bit. Good, and then we're going to go down and do that on the left leg. So hands underneath wrist, or hands underneath shoulders again. Flex the foot on that left side. Breathe in, and then as you breathe out, we lift the leg up to the ceiling and then pull the knee in towards the tummy and chest. Good, and in. Up on your out breath, in on the in breath. Just moving as far as you can. If you don't look like me, that's okay. Or if you've got more movement than me, that's okay as well. Okay, now on this last one, lift up and do those 10 pulses. 10, 9, good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the knee down, and again just push back for a moment or sit up and circle through the wrists just to give them a little bit of attention. Okay, then if you can come up into a high kneeling position, this will be easier for you to swing the leg around. So let's bring the right leg round first. And then we're going to bring the arms down onto the ground, if you can, okay? Now I'm aware that not everybody will be able to do this, so just do what you can. Now, we have our right foot on the floor, and we're going to start to stretch and pull that left knee further back. So you might want to move your towel so it's still supporting your kneecap. So then from here you can keep your hands down on the floor or lift up so that your spine is nice and upright. And you should start to feel a good stretch down that left hip, the front of your left hip. Okay, just hold here for a couple of breaths. Try and press the hips down towards the ground a little bit if you can. And just have a look quickly at my front knee, so you can see that the ankle is even a little bit forwards from the knee. You don't want the foot to come too far back and have that knee further forwards than the toes. That's going to put a lot of pressure on this right knee joint. Okay, so now we're going to stretch out the back of the hamstring as well. So I want you to push back, so we straighten out this right leg. You can bring your hands down onto the floor, flex the foot on this right side, so you feel a good stretch up the back of this leg, this right leg. And now we're going to do these moving with the breath. Okay, so when you next breathe in, come back up into this stretch, push the hips down, and then breathe out. Flex, breathe in, and out. Breathe in, and out. And feel free to shift about a little bit if you need to. Let's do one more. Pressing those hips down and then push back. Good, and just hold it then in this hamstring stretch position, flexing the toes back as well, getting a good stretch into your calf. Lovely. Okay, then we're going to swap and do the left leg. So upright kneeling position. Bring your left foot forwards. And then bend over. Bring your hands down towards the floor. You can move your towel again if you need to, so we can get that right leg a little further back, or even inch your left foot further forwards. Okay, so keep your hands on the floor if you need to for support and balance. Or if you can, we're going to lift up, so we're sitting up. Now press the hips down, and you should start to feel a good stretch over the right hip. And even in on the left side in the groin as well. Keep pressing the hips down and breathing, remembering always to breathe. Okay, now we're going to go into this backwards and forwards stretch. So a nice breath in, prepare. And then on your out breath, push the hips and the bum back, lift the toes off the floor of that left foot, pull the toes in towards your shin and feel a good stretch all the way down the back of your left leg. Now when you're ready to breathe in again, put the left foot flat on the floor, bring your hips forwards and press them down towards the ground. Keep your hands on the floor if you need to, if you feel more balanced that way. Now breathe out. Stretch hamstring and calf. Breathe in, push the hips down. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Moving slowly or as quickly as you prefer. We're doing about 6 on each leg here, okay, if you're counting yourself. Last one. forwards, hips down, and back, and then just hold this stretch, this backward stretch for a moment, for an extra couple of breaths. Okay, lovely. Then bring that left foot back down, or knee back down, bring your toes together and your knees wide, and just push back into a wide knee shell stretch. Stretching yourself forwards, bringing your chest and your head down onto the floor if you can manage. Okay, now we're going to go into a seated position. So I have some tips for you if you find it a struggle to sit with your legs completely flat to the floor and completely straight out. Okay, so if you need to, what you can do is sit up against a wall, so push your bum right in against a wall and get your head and your shoulders up against the wall, and hopefully just that little bit of extra support can help you then to try and extend the legs. Allow a little bend in the knees if you really need to. I know some of us have really super tight hamstrings, so if you need a little bit of a bend in the legs, that is perfectly fine. Another option is to use your folded over towel and just give yourself a little bit of height, as much as you need. You know, you can use a little block or something else, and then sit on top of that. And then giving your hips a little bit of extra height sometimes allows you to sit with a nice upright spine and the legs completely stretched out. So whatever works for you is absolutely fine. What we don't want is that when we get the legs in the right position, the spine then is altered, or your spine is really leaning back, okay? So we want to be sitting really nice and upright through the spine, thinking of a thread holding you up towards the ceiling. So this in itself can be difficult. So if this is enough, just stay here and don't add in this little spine twist that I'm going to do now. But if you're finding this not too bad, sitting with the legs in this position, I want you to bring the hands up behind the head, and then we're going to go into a little bit of spine twist. Breathing out as you twist round, breathing in through the middle, and breathing out to the other side. Good. Checking in with the shoulders, watching that they don't start to creep up to the ears, especially as you get tired and you might start to lose your good posture points. Good. Just 2 more to each side. Last one each side. Lovely. And then we're going to go down onto our backs for a little bit of stretching. So if you have a resistance band or something, keep it handy because we're going to need that at some point, or your towel as well. So bring yourself down onto your back, first of all. And I want you just to hug your left knee in towards the body as you have your right leg stretched out along the floor. Okay, now bring your right hand round to the outside of that left knee and just bring that left leg across the body. But keep the left shoulder connected to the floor, and we're going to look back over the left shoulder with your left arm stretched out along the floor. Just hold for a couple of breaths and then bring yourself back into the center. Swap over, so you hug your right knee into the tummy and chest, stretch the left leg out along the floor. Pulling and pulling, so you get a nice stretch around the glutes on the right side and in around the groin. Then bring that left hand round to the outside of the right knee and twist. Bring the right leg across the body as you look over your right shoulder this time. So it's a nice little twist. Good. I'm very aware of background noise in this video, so I apologise for that. Okay, now feet flat on the floor, and we're going to go into the lovely 4-point stretch. So if you lift your right foot, put it over onto your left knee, just push that right knee away slightly. Now if you want to, you can get your band here or your towel and wrap it around the back of your left thigh, lift the left foot off the floor and use the band to help pull the legs in towards the body. This can be good if you don't quite have the mobility to reach through and grab hold with your hands. You can use a towel or a band and pull back that way. Okay? Now you can also try leaning over towards the left side of the body, and this will really intensify the stretch around the right side. And then you can try bringing the legs over to the right hand side. See if that deepens and intensifies the stretch anywhere. So you're just gently moving, rocking the legs in this position from side to side. Good, one more time to each side. Lovely, and then put both feet flat down onto the floor. We're going to swap over to the other side. So your left foot comes over onto your right thigh, onto your right knee. You can pass the band or the towel around the back of your right thigh and pull back in towards the body. And then gently start to rock over to the right, over to the left, over to the right, just till you get to that point where you can feel a little bit of a nip. Good. One more time, rocking right to left. Perfect. Good, now both feet flat onto the floor again. Now we will need the resistance band for this, so whether you have one that is just a long line of elastic or you have these loopy ones, it doesn't matter. You can fold the loop over in two and just hold on to the ends, or you can have it, just one stretched out like that, just whatever really works best for you. Okay, so play around with it, or just use a belt or a dressing gown belt or a pair of tights. Something with a little bit of give in it is quite nice to use for this. So if you can get the leg fully extended, but if you need a little bend in the knee, of course that's fine as well. So we're working the right leg first. So I'd like you to stretch your left leg out along the floor so it's out of your way. Now we're going to rock from side to side, so you need to make sure you've got enough room either side of you for this one. So breathing in to begin, then on your out breath, drop that right leg all the way down to the right hand side. Then breathe in, bring it up through the center, swap over so you grab hold of the ends of the band with your left hand, and then bring it across the body. This is a really tight stretch all down into the IT band down the outside of your right leg. Breathe in through the middle, breathe out over to the side and out. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Good. Trying to go a little bit further each time. But also honouring wherever your limits are and not trying to push too hard. It's a really fine balance between over pushing and then also not pushing enough. You know, you want to push enough so that you get a bit of development and progress, but not so much that you end up hurt or injured or anything nasty. Okay, last time, bringing it over to the left across the body. Perfect. All right, now swap over, put your right foot into the band, or your left foot, sorry, into the band, and stretch your right leg out along the floor. Now breathe in, prepare, and then breathe out. Bring that left leg all the way out to the left hand side. Feeling a really deep stretch in the inner thigh area. Breathe in through the center, breathe out, bringing that left leg across the body. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. These can be really tight, so don't worry if you feel that you don't have much mobility here and you're not getting very far over on each side. Don't worry. It probably just means you should do this more often, unfortunately. Good. But if we spend a lot of time sitting down, unfortunately our legs can begin to become a wee bit squeaky. You know, it's kind of like putting WD-40 on your door hinges or your bike or something. You know, this is the equivalent of that for your hips, for your body. Good, and one more to each side.
Can you feel my heartbeat?
Perfect. Okay, then one last stretch and exercise just to finish off this session. So if you bring your right foot in under the band again, your left foot now can just be flat on the floor with your knee bent. Again, we're going to go with our breath, okay? So it's a dynamic moving stretch. So breathe in and prepare. And then on your out breath, draw the leg back in, getting that good stretch down the back of the leg. As you breathe in, we lower the leg down towards the floor. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Good. Two more. Lovely. Okay, and then swap over, put your left foot into the band, right foot down onto the floor, breath in to prepare, and then breathe out, draw that left leg back. Breathe in and lower.
Oh, it's so cute.
Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathing out. Feeling that lovely stretch. Tell yourself it's lovely and you might start to believe it. Good. Nearly there. Last two. Perfect. And now if you want to, if you have a bit of extra time, what you can do is just linger in any of these stretches. So linger for, up to 6 or even 10 big long breaths, either pulling the leg back here or over across the body for 10 breaths, 6 to 10 breaths, or out to the side for 6 to 10 breaths. And you can do that on both legs, especially if you've been out for a long walk or run or something, or if you've had a very sedentary day even and you are feeling particularly tight. It is really worthwhile spending some extra time doing some of those stretches. So I hope you feel a little bit more flexible, a little bit stretched out after that, and I hope you enjoyed the session. See you next time.